Have you noticed when you buy stuff on Amazon, like electronics, it doesn't come with like charging bricks or the actual charging cable anymore? Or not the cable, I'm sorry, like the actual like you get a USB
Like the
to
wall plug.
to USB-C. Yeah, you don't get anything plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
So that's these Galaxy lights. They did
I
that.
feel like. Sorry, I feel like everybody has a different name for what that wall plug-in is called.
What do you call it?
A a block or I guess like a charging block is normally what I call it, which doesn't make sense because it's not a charging block.
No, I call it a brick, which is less sense because like it has no brick-like tendencies. You know.
Yeah,
I guess
I
like
don't,
like a Lego brick. It's got nubs.
I have no idea what to call it. Like, do those things have a name?
I'm sure they do.
They must, right?
The plug-in thingy. I guess like okay,
The
and
wall
this is
plug-in?
this is another. Oh, it's probably a wall plug. It's probably a wall plug. But
No,
nothing on Amazon comes with the wall plug anymore. You only get the cord, and then you have to go back and buy. So like my Galaxy lights didn't come with one. I bought those like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then my Gamer Boy lights they didn't come with one, and I'm a fucking idiot because I bought these twice, and I have the one out in the living room. And they didn't come with one either, and I didn't realize. But I was like we have like a couple laying around, so I plug it in. But now they changed the voltages on those plugs, so some of them will be like a super low voltage and will only work for like your My Little Pony nightlight. Like that's the only thing that's gonna work.
I mean, yeah, that's been a thing for a while, my dude. I just lean back. Can't cuss in the beginning. I keep it. Hold on. I just lean back.
Very
But I
good.
have this is pretty old. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's got two little plugs on there, and one is like 1 amp, and the other one's 2.1 amperages. And
Well, some of
so,
these
like,
things they need like 8 minimum.
yeah, they do. It depends on what you're using.
I hate that shit. It's like if you're gonna sell me a product, it should come with everything. And now we're still in the cold open. We're still in the
Okay.
cold open. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of selling products.
There was a man in Colorado, since we're still in the cold open. There was a man in Colorado, if we're talking about selling products, who was a drug dealer
In Colorado?
in Colorado. Can you believe it?
What kind of drug? I'm assuming it's like hard drugs.
Yeah, dog. No, let me tell you the story, and then you'll find out why I say he's a drug dealer. Because, I imbibe in the marijuana. I'm not going to call that a drug. Whatever. This man had 60,000... No, he had 64,000 fentanyl pills. 4,000 of which were found in his car. 60,000 were found in his home. He also had 26 pounds of meth in his home and 5 pounds on him.
Do you think before they legalized marijuana in Colorado, that dude was selling just pot and that was it?
I don't know.
And then like when pot got legalized, they're like, I
don't know.
gotta up my game. I gotta the next best thing, fentanyl.
He has a hyphenated last name, and one of his last names was Loya, and all I could think of was that Fred Loya guy, and I was wondering, like, are they related?
Fred Loya, that messed me up. Okay, is it Fred Loya?
I think so.
Loya the Loya. So like
Is he?
the Loya guy. We're not googling things.
I don't think he's a lawyer, because I remember saying that was a missed opportunity, that he should have become a lawyer.
Everyone in the family should have been lawyers.
Yeah,
Lawyers.
lawyers.
You got to move to Jersey.
I was
And you got to
gonna
be a
say.
lawyer in Jersey. Yeah. There's the strong arm. Have you seen him?
Strong arm.
The strong arm. So that's what I should have known. So we moved to Colorado, right? And I asked like pretty early into our move to Colorado. Are we allowed to talk about where we're from? We're in Colorado.
Yeah, we're in Colorado. I don't think go into much more detail than that,
No.
but
Well,
we're in Colorado.
I was going to go into a little more detail than that. Not where we live at in Colorado, but where we
This is
came
a terrible
from.
cold open. We're
Where
like
we came from
figuring shit
before.
out in
Yes.
the cold open.
They're here with us. This is a journey. So we're from Florida. So in Florida, you have John Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan. And that's like the big lawyer in Florida. And then get to Colorado, and it's the strong arm guy. and the lawyer. So I ask people, do y'all have John Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan in
No, they don't.
Colorado? They don't. They do not.
That was a Florida thing. I knew that when I lived in Florida.
But it's such an interesting, like, and I don't even think John Morgan's commercials are like, I'm John Morgan and Morgan with Morgan and Morgan and Morgan.
It's Morgan, Morgan, and Morgan because they
Morgan-
just added another Morgan.
Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan. And they like that's their whole shtick. And that's all they do.
No, but I mean I don't know John Morgan, and I'm not gonna talk one way or another. But
He ran for governor. No, he wasn't going to run. He didn't run for
wasn't
governor.
gonna run for
People
governor.
wanted him to run
People
for governor.
wanted
They
him
were
to run for
begging
governor
him to.
because he helps the community a lot. Like he's a pretty decent dude from what I've seen.
But a local celebrity in Florida is the lawyer, right? John Morgan, the lawyer.
John Morgan and Morgan.
And then in
Attorney
Colorado, it's the Armstrong guy, the strong arm.
I don't know the strong arm.
You haven't seen the
guy.
strong arm? It's
No.
like his commercials are, and I might be thinking of Texas actually, but I'm pretty sure it's the strong arm guy because my girlfriend was talking about it. You know, the strong arm, and that's his whole thing is like, I'm gonna get you your money, whether they want to give it up or not. And he like strong arms the competition, and he does like a lot of football stuff where he'll be like
That's amazing.
have the football, throw the football, and then like his
the
son catches it.
advertising.
Yes, and that's like, but that's lawyers have like the best advertising, and they're
They
like
do.
local
They have some good
celebrities,
advertising.
but they don't
I
share between
don't-
states.
I don't think that I would say they have the best advertisements, particularly the best advertisements that share between states.
What reason would you ever have for knowing a lawyer?
Because you have to do things with a lawyer.
Have you personally? So you have no. This is like if you ask a not video game person who Todd Howard is, they have no reason to know who Todd Howard is, so they're not going to. So Todd Howard's advertising is worse than John Morgan's or the strong arms guy, because I've never had a reason to get a lawyer. You never had a reason to get a lawyer, but we know lawyers. We know two of them.
That's
Well, I know
true.
two of them. You know one of them.
I
But
know
people
one.
who don't need to know Todd Howard don't know the guy.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. There's always gonna be niches and shit like that. You don't know those people.
But does that mean that every state has? Because we're two out of 50 right now.
But you can argue that about anything, I do, because like if I say Wizards of the Coast, people who know, and people who don't. Like there's gonna be people who have no fucking idea who Wizards of the Coast is.
But they got no reason to. It's
Yeah.
not in their wheelhouse. We like the lawyer industry in particular. They got it because like even
Okay.
if you have no
Okay.
reason to know, if you're not in that like that
What
legal
about-
space.
What about like the car dealerships? You
Same
know how
thing.
Car dealerships have the name
Same
in
thing.
front of it and shit.
The car dealerships, and they're like come to John Hart Ford, we eat human
Yeah.
hearts.
Yeah.
And like you know who that, because car dealerships have better advertising than who are we comparing them to than to Bethesda, than Todd Howard.
Like car dealerships and lawyers have a wider audience, my dude. And not everybody, but like anybody at any point is gonna need a car or a lawyer. Not
don't
everybody plays video games.
I've
I
never
can name
gone,
off tons of authors you wouldn't know because you don't read as much as I do.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is like their advertising game's on point. Maybe those authors that you know that I don't had the advertising chutzpah of John Morgan or the strong arm or John Hart, the eater of hearts at John Hart Ford, then they would sell more books.
This show is advertised by John Hart, the eater of hearts at John Hart Ford.
I'm hoping that John Morgan and Morgan. I'm trying to hang out
Again,
with John Morgan for a little
Morgan,
bit.
Morgan. They used to have those Pitbull concerts. They seem like pretty all right people. It seemed like a lot. They tried to do a lot for the
Forgot
community.
about Mr. Worldwide. I forgot
I'm telling
about Mr.
you, like,
Dolly.
Morgan and Morgan, that he seems like he genuinely was trying to help out. You know?
I agree. I also think that John Morgan is actually a stand-up dude. And
Yeah.
I like John Morgan a lot. And if he would ever like to be on the podcast, love to have him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Fill space for a moment.
A space for a moment. I had a train of thought and it really fucking left me.
We can talk about ASMR. You guys want to hear some ASMR? Were you able to hear that?
That was, yeah.
Was it? Hold on.
Yeah. Wow, I heard every sound. I heard it like start to open. That's crazy.
Crack a cold one with the podcast. We're still in the cold open. Because that almost went into what we're going to be talking about today. So let's
Oh, that's crazy.
let's back this up. Cold open.
Cold open.
Sales.
Sales.
People trying to sell you stuff. Right?
Okay.
When someone knocks on your door, and I know like with who we are as people, different reasons to or not to. If someone knocks on your door, do you open it?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like you do every time?
Yeah. I mean, if someone knocks on my door, I panic.
Mm-hmm.
That's my initial response because
The
like
anxiety.
somebody knocking at my door, and I don't know why someone like normally I would know if it's you pulling up or something.
Like your boys are gonna text you.
Yeah, your boy's gonna text you, and we're gonna have made plans and shit. Or like they're gonna have called and said like, "Hey, can I come over? It's an emergency or some shit."
Yeah.
But like, if someone knocks, I panic. I look through the peephole, and then I open the door.
Well, I had someone. I'm gonna tell myself real quick. I'm a bad man. Because this ain't even a sales thing.
Bad man.
I'm a bad man. This is not a sales thing. We definitely we jumped from sales to knocking on doors, so I could tell this story about someone knocking on my door today. Like 2 hours ago, someone knocked on my door.
So why'd you start this with sales?
Because it was kind of a sales thing. It was a little bit of a sales thing, but not really a sales thing. They're trying to get my money.
Okay.
Sales, to me, when I think of sales, I don't think of like I'm trying to sell you something. Like that whole like, you want to buy a pin? Like, I don't think about that. I think about people trying to sell me something. Like I'm the victim. When there's a sale, I'm the one who's getting fucked. And we're 12 minutes in, so I'm allowed to say the F word now. But
I've already that.
we can go back and beep. We'll be all right, and we'll cut some shit.
Yeah.
So like, dude comes, knocks on my door, and I gotta get ready. I gotta like put creatures away. We have cats. They're both now runners, so I gotta like put the cats away before I open the door. She can run away when it gets hard. We just got DMCA'd.
No.
Yeah, we just got DMCA'd.
No.
I kind of think it'd be fun to like see what we can and can't get away with DMCA wise, and then call out the people who DMCA strike us. And it's like,
That's
so
listen,
you hate fun.
if they can sing like karaoke and shit on the Tonight Show or whatever, why can't we?
Tonight Show got money to like pay for the licensing for it. They
Let's
have
give credit where it's due.
on Clone Hero. They have like the streamer mode, and it just mutes the music.
That's terrible.
Yes, and I couldn't imagine watching that.
No.
So dude knocks on my door. So I go and I answer it. I had to put the cats away. By the time I got the cats put away, I go back and he's gone. And I just open the door. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just knocked on your door and walked away." And I was like, "Oh no, you're good, man. What's up?" And he's like trying to first I put the one cat away first. And then the other cat was like creeping up, so I was like talking to the guy through like the crack in the door.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm with this thing, and you know we're a fundraiser. We collect money for veterans who they just get back from like Iraq and Iran and stuff." And it's like, brother,
It's a weak spot for you.
we ain't in Iraq. We ain't in Iran.
No, we're not.
So they ain't getting back from Iraq and Iran right now. What you talking about? But he's like we get money, and then we use it to help them get like mental health aid and everything. We don't take cash just in case like it goes missing between here and there. And dude's got a tablet. I'm like, hold on a second, because the cat's like getting close. So I put the cat away. I put the big creature away now, and then I come back and I open the door all the way. I'm like, so what's up? He's like, so we don't take cash just in case it goes missing between here and there. And I'm like, the fuck does that mean? And he's got his tablet out, and he's like, so I'm just gonna get some of your personal information. I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there, man. I don't give out personal information.
That's scary.
Yeah. And I was like, y'all have a good rest of y'all's night. He goes, oh, okay. Just like that. Oh, okay. Because like I'm like turned and like closing the fucking door. Like I'm not giving you my personal, like a dude who like come up and like knock on my door, ask for personal information. And it's like, and I feel bad because like I will give money to fundraisers and stuff,
Yeah.
but the ones like we had some like high school kids, or high school or middle school kids. I can't tell anymore. They all look the same. They show up and like they're in like their football pads and stuff, and they're trying to get money for their football program.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, like we get Girl Scouts and shit that come around and like
do
sell
the
candy
Girl
bars
Scouts
or...
do they have card readers?
No.
See, these guys didn't either, and I would be okay with like I'll scan the card and give you $20. Like I'm good with that, but like
Yeah.
I don't keep cash on me, so I can't help out like these kids that come by. Like I actually want to give money, but this like dude comes by, he's like, I need some of your personal information, and I know somebody. I'm not gonna say no names. I know somebody who signed up for Greenpeace on that same shtick of like, oh, we don't take cash, but we can get some information.
Yeah.
And then Greenpeace signs you up for a subscription service. And now you're paying $25 a month for Greenpeace
And you gotta jump through hoops.
to cancel that shit. Because there's not like there's no sign up thing. You didn't like go online and make an account where you can like log into your account and cancel. You have to like make a phone call and talk to somebody. And it's like, I'm not, regardless, like past that knowledge that there are people out there who like take your information so they can sign you up for a subscription service that you have to like jump through hoops to get out of. I'm also just not going to give somebody my fucking information because you knocked on my door.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree with that. I people give their information out very freely. I feel like, and it is important to keep your information safe.
I get like when I'm like doing like on a
Sounds like a NordVPN ad. A NordVPN, hit us up.
you need to keep your information
You need to
safe.
keep your information. Like that is genuine advice. Don't give your information out. Just
But
willy-nilly.
who do you need to tell that to? Like in 2024, who needs that advice?
People were running check fraud scams because they didn't know what check fraud was. I mean,
That's
I
true.
feel like you need to say it.
Well, they were so the check fraud thing. I feel like is because it was worded as like a life hack.
It was the fact that they called it the Chase Bank glitch.
Yep.
That's
it's like this is check
crazy.
fraud. If something's too true or too good to be true, it is.
Yes.
And like you're gonna get in trouble. You will get in trouble for that shit.
No, it's just absolutely bonkers.
You can't help everybody, but you
No,
can
but,
help yourself
yeah.
to watch Netflix from other countries by signing up for NordVPN.
No
Yeah.
free advertising. No free advertising.
It's not free. It's a little taste. You got a little taste. Give them the little. Speaking of taste, ooh, fuck, perfect. Speaking of taste, when you're growing up, so like I'm white,
Yeah.
and you were not.
No.
So when you were growing up, because like for me it was like bologna sandwiches, stuff like that. What was your parents like go to easy dinner for you guys?
Oh, my mom was very lazy. And my mom had a lot of like microwave meals that got fed to us. I think easy dinner was typically like rice and some sort of meat or something. When it comes to like my dad and everything, because he's Middle Eastern. But like, yeah, I would say something like that or some easy pasta. Pasta was a good easy meal to crank out.
So you guys were like either having like a microwave thing, like Marie Callender's, or like actual ingredients put into a dish,
Typically, actual ingredients put into a dish.
like
My dad
multiple
did not
dishes.
like the microwave meals, but
Did he believe that microwaves can like give you cancer and shit?
he just didn't think they were good for us, and we were very little.
Well, and he's right. All the sodium and
Yeah,
shit
absolutely not. Like we used to eat those kid cuisine meals a lot as a kid.
with the little penguin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is not food.
No.
Like, chicken has barely touched that piece of chicken you have on your plate. It's crazy.
Should we go to war with Feastables right now?
With Feastables.
The Mr. Beastables. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I have heard about that.
Should we as a small podcast with like
I
two people
will
listening?
not support Mr. Beast.
Well, and Logan Paul.
or Logan Paul.
Should we go to war with? I don't want to go into that right now. I think there's enough like content out there about Logan Paul and Mr. Beast. We can just stay out of this.
Yeah, I don't think that's not what the point of the podcast is.
What's the point of the podcast?
The point of the podcast is to talk about things that people would think about or ask questions about, but don't have the will to go Google it. Like I got asked a great thing today that I thought would be a great podcast topic. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but why do birds make different sounds?
It's the different radio frequencies to talk to the government transponders. It's their drone signals to talk to the CIA, the FBI.
And when they're really repetitive, they're like low battery mode.
It's low latency. And they got mad packet loss, and they got to keep like sending the same thing over and over again.
Like that is some dumb thing that I would think to question during the day, but not think to be like, let me Google that real fast in the middle of my day. And
I
that's
think
what I want to talk about.
A lot of the time now, with like so much stuff to do on your phone, like do you have like an automatic thing that you do with your phone when you pull your phone out?
Yeah.
Where like you're not even thinking about it, and your thumb just like does the thing and opens the app, and then you kind of end up in that space instead of Googling things that you might have thought to Google later on. With the wealth of human knowledge in your hand all the time, you take that for granted and don't look up the thing. So I think I like that. What's the name of this podcast?
Ian and Murna don't understand much.
And which one of those two people are you?
Oh, I'm Murna.
And I'm Ian.
I didn't change my name.
We did that backwards. Next time.
All right, next time.
Ooh. Very good. So you're Ian and I'm Murna?
I'm Murna.
And I'm Ian.
Even though it says Ariana. I'm Murna.
And I'm Ian. Well, we were talking about what we used to eat.
Yeah.
Growing up, like what the easy meal was.
Great segue.
Thank you. We had a good segue, and then we like walked around it and came back. So growing up in my house, Hamburger Helper was a big thing. And actually, not so much Hamburger Helper, because I might have gone. Have you ever had Hamburger Helper?
I did not have Hamburger Helper until I was an adult.
What'd you think of it when you were an adult?
Not very good.
Not the best?
I could have made better with probably cheaper ingredients if you would just give me like some ground beef and cheese and.
Well, there's the ease of it that you get one box, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pan, and you're all set. You don't got to go boil a bunch of water for noodles and stuff. 1 box, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pan. And that's a lot of why I think my parents, my father and my stepmother made, and I'm actually going to correct myself, it wasn't Hamburger Helper, but one of their mini offshoots of Hamburger Helper.
Yeah, they have a lot of different branches of Hamburger Helper.
I'm going to say the worst one, and that's gonna reveal to you why I have such a problem with Hamburger Helper.
Okay.
Tuna Helper.
Don't know that I've ever.
You ever had tuna casserole?
No.
No, it is. So I used to think I had like the biggest disdain for tuna casserole because of growing up, and I was like every Friday was Tuna Helper. Every single Friday was Tuna Helper, and it was my stepmom's favorite, and I refused to eat it. And like I'm a big boy. Like me refusing food is like a that's a big thing, you know. And I wouldn't eat every Friday. I would not eat because it was Tuna Helper, and it was so bad. And then we came to Colorado, and I told my girlfriend, I'm like, I don't like tuna casserole. Like tuna casserole came up, tuna casserole, tuna patties, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't tuna. That's not that ain't me, house. And she made me some tuna casserole, and it's actually really good. So either my stepmom fucked it up, or Tuna Helper fucked it up. But I have a problem with the helpers.
I don't think tuna casserole sounds good by any stretch of the imagination, personally.
No, it's like the worst parts of tuna amplified.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it. But I feel like the reason that I would rather just take some ground beef or some tuna or whatever and, you know, make it myself is because it's never going to be as good when it's a one box recipe. I'm sorry.
Well, and I don't think it was ever meant to be good.
No.
Hamburger
It's meant
Helper.
to be easy.
Now this is
like
coming
the-
off of Hamburger Helper came out in the 70s. So this was like off of the I guess the rise of putting everything in Jell-O.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my grandma used to do that. And I think a lot of people think
You are
like Jell-O.
so white.
I am from the South.
So white.
Super white. My grandma used to put like fried zucchini, okra, ham, lima beans, macaroni, everything in Jell-O. And it's not flavored Jell-O. Like when you think of Jell-O,
Yeah.
you think of like lime.
No, I know. It's just gelatin.
This was
Essentially.
gelatin
You're
and
just
boiled
suspending
water.
everything in gelatin.
It's filling. I guess that's kind of the point, you know. But
Yes.
this was coming off of like big Jell-O crazes of like the 60s, like the late 50s, early 60s. Hamburger Helper was kind of stepping in to fill that void. And this was at like a time where like the economy was in like a massive decline.
Is
So-
your theme Hamburger Helper?
Mike, was I supposed to lay it out for you? My theme is Hamburger Helper. We're going to talk about Hamburger Helper and its checkered history.
You're telling me we're gonna spend like 30 minutes talking about Hamburger Helper?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, this is my dream. This is what
Yeah.
I wanted to do.
Buckle up. Settle in. We're going to talk about Hamburger Helper. In case you ever wanted to
Uh-huh.
Google Hamburger Helper, I Googled it for you. I did the research. So Hamburger Helper came out in the 70s when America was going through like this massive economic decline. And the price of all sorts of meats was going way up. And there was like protests in the streets and stuff about the price of beef, meat in particular, or meat all around, but beef in particular. That was actually when mad cow disease was first kind of found out about, because one of their cost cutting measures was trying to feed the old cow to the new cow. And that causes mad cow disease. Yeah, like it was,
Yeah.
the supply chain was so messed up, and getting like grain and feed to the cows was so expensive. They were trying to cut costs wherever they could, because the economy, all in all,
What was happening then?
I don't-
Why was the?
no, I didn't look that up. I looked up Hamburger Helper.
I mean, yeah, but like, what time period is it?
This was the early 70s, late 60s.
Late 60s, early 70s. So it's not like after World War II or something like that. Like I guess the Vietnamese War, but like I feel it. I don't know. That's crazy. Okay.
Something bad with the economy was happening.
And things are really cyclical. Okay, go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
Betty Crocker stepped in to save America.
That grand old,
Do you know who Betty Crocker is?
not the real person. I mean, I know the brand name.
Do you know Betty Crocker was never a real person? No. Betty Crocker has been around since like the 20s for like a long time. But
Okay.
Betty Crocker was just a brand made to sell cookbooks. And then the Betty Crocker brand got bought by General Mills. And then that same idea of like you have a nice face to put on something. But Betty Crocker was never a real person.
General Mills owns Betty Crocker.
General Mills owns Betty Crocker and owns Hamburger
General
Helper.
Mills has their hands in everything.
General Mills. I mean, General Mills is like the Nestle of water. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they're in it all.
Yeah.
General Mills bought up Betty Crocker before the 70s, 1967. Betty Crocker put out 4 types of products where all you gotta do is just add beef, and that was the big sale. Was at the time it was not the one pot meal. It was one box, 1 pound of beef. That was it. But they put out their first 4, and it was like beef stroganoff, the beef and noodles. They did a beef, it spelled incorrectly, teriyaki.
Teriyaki?
Teriyaki.
Not teriyaki.
Not teriyaki.
Teriyaki.
Teriyaki in 1967.
What is a teriyaki?
It was a teriyaki flavor, and you're gonna see like throughout a lot of Hamburger Helper's history, they want to do like Oriental flavors. They actually had like an Oriental beef flavor at some point in teriyaki, and they keep like dipping their toes into it. And it's like you can go to the $1.50 scoop place and just get that. Like if I'm hungry, I don't need Betty Crocker to put some Asian food on my plate. Like I can go somewhere and get it for pretty cheap.
Asian food is like it's like pizza. Like it's an easy, cheap meal.
And I don't need it. I don't need easier and cheaper and nastier.
Yeah.
So like we big hating on Hamburger Helper right now. This is like a semi hate piece on Hamburger Helper. So I guess this is another. We're not gonna get
advertisements
from Hamburger Helper.
I feel like our advertisers are gonna have to be pretty specific because we're gonna talk about a lot of topics that people are not gonna want to sponsor.
If you eat Hamburger Helper and you're gonna shit your pants, you're gonna want those pants to be MeUndies. Yeah. So no, keep it. It's good. In 1967,
MeUndies is never gonna sponsor us. I want MeUndies as a sponsor.
They love that shit. They love if you're gonna shit your pants, it needs to have the diamond pouch.
The diamond pouch.
You never heard about the MeUndies diamond pouch?
I don't know. We're getting too far into MeUndies though. We're talking about Hamburger Helper.
In 1967, they made the first 4 boxes. Total flop. Nobody wanted to eat that shit. It was nasty.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. They made the first 4 they made 4 boxes?
4 like
4 flavors.
Styles, flavors
had
of Hamburger Helper.
Okay.
With like the beef teriyaki.
I thought they made 1 of each. I was like, that's a little crazy.
No, they made, and they were pushing them to the stores, and it was a total flop. Nobody wanted it, and a lot of the reason why was because it was still kind of hard to make. You had to get out the pot, boil the water, make the noodles, make whatever you're making, and then drain that, throw the beef in, bing, bang, boom. It's not easy. So in 1970, Marjorie Johnson, she's the mother of Hamburger Helper. She is actually like a famous like cookbook person. Like she made a lot of cookbooks and stuff. She's like big time chef from back in the 70s. Because she's like, it's like your grandma. If your grandma makes a cookbook,
Yeah.
It's like that. Marjorie Johnson was America's grandma. She making America's
sounds
cookbook.
like margarine, and I feel like
maybe that
probably a lot of that in there.
That helped out.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot of margarine in there if she's Southern. But she helped make like the actual Hamburger Helper brand, and they rebranded into Hamburger Helper in December of 1970. And her big innovation was to make it a 1-pan meal. And that was like revolutionary for back in those times. Now you hop on YouTube and everything's like 1-pot chicken meals.
Yeah.
This was like I can make all my dinner with one pot, with 1 pan. That's a big fucking deal.
I'm sure you don't know this because you Googled Hamburger Helper, and not what I'm about to ask, but like, do you know how they did that? Did they add something to it to make it a 1-pot meal, or they were just like, anyways, cook it together?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I have no idea. I wonder if it's like the amount of water that you add to it. It's actually because like when you do like pasta, you just like fill a pot with water, however much. Throw your noodles in, let it cook. When it's done, drain it. I wonder if they actually like scienced out exactly how much water you need to make the noodles,
that pasta,
but the water will be gone.
Yes.
When it's done, they probably rinse all the starch off beforehand.
Probably. That's what I'm wondering. Like they must have some sort of process that she figured out. But kudos.
She's a smart lady. And she innovated the kitchen. Have you ever seen like the old commercials from like the 70s?
No, I don't think so.
They're mean to their kids.
Oh, you're talking about old commercials in general? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there was a Hamburger Helper commercial
world.
Where like the daughter walks up, mom's in the kitchen, she's getting everything ready, she's like reaching up in the cabinets and stuff, getting ready, and the little girl walks in and she goes, "Are we making dinner? Can I help? What can I make for dad and brother?"
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that like we're cooking for the boys, but I get whatever.
Well,
and the mom turns and looks at this kid and goes, We're making Hamburger Helper like I had planned. It's like, why are you so intense on this little girl right now? She was asking a question. And that's kind of mean.
Kids were a burden.
I mean, they still are. But 1970, December of 1970, the first Hamburger Helper came out, and it dropped on the West Coast. And the big thing was you can feed a family of 5 with 1 pan, 1 pound of meat. And then in 1972 was when they started pushing out the dreaded new flavors, because the first flavor is just like a beef stroganoff.
Yeah.
1972.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Mm-hmm.
Hamburger
No,
Helper was
there are no
little,
dumb questions.
The little mitt guy, right?
That is the helping hand, or lefty.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into
Lefty,
into lefty. Well, they changed the name from the helping hand to lefty. I believe that was in the 80s, but they changed the name.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm excited to learn about him.
Well,
because that's what I remember from like the commercials and stuff.
Could you imagine a Hamburger Helper without the helping hand?
Yeah.
The first like couple years of Hamburger Helper coming out, it was just Hamburger Helper. Then the helping hand dropped, and they started dropping like in commercials and stuff. They had to have a mascot. Oh. And at first, this little dude was yes. Now, but not back in the day. But now, yes. But they just dropped them in commercials, and the commercials went like the equivalent of viral for back in the 80s. Like everybody knew because of how creepy this hand was. It had like a little cartoon hand that come out, the left one come out and like, we're gonna help you do the things. And it's like it's his body and how he interacts with things at the same time.
The thing from the Addams Family.
And or like you ever seen Evil Dead? Where they fight at the end of Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell chops his hand off and then he has to fight his hand that's been possessed by the Evil Dead. And that's what I think of when I think of like the helping hand is this little hand getting around. We're actually going to get to that as well. But it had like these like disembodied ice on the hand, and it was the eyes didn't track with where the hand was like looking and doing stuff. But it's not like the advanced animation that we have today. And like I know that can sound kind of funny, but like it's not the advanced animation we have today. So
like
it did
80s animation.
Yes, and it did not work. It's like the Bill of Rights. Because, like, I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
If that was disconcerting, it would not be as enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, and the helping hand was disconcerting at first. But the most disconcerting part is the first new flavor they put out after Marjorie Johnson fixes Hamburger Helper, makes it right. Guess.
Tuna casserole.
Tuna fucking casserole. That's in 1972, the first flavor is tuna casserole. It's like, what are you people doing?
Their first foray into other flavors was tuna casserole.
Well,
tuna's cheap.
Well, I guess. It is like the cheapest fish.
It is the cheapest fish. You can can it. It's easy. Tuna's cheap. I mean, Bumblebee tuna has been around for how long?
Do you think it's cheap because it's the nastiest one, or is it like the easiest one to get?
I'm not gonna lie, I like tuna. Like, I don't mind tuna. I
don't mind
a tuna sandwich. The tuna melt's pretty good.
You had tuna patties?
No, I don't think I have.
Those I was really, because I came off of like being a big tuna hater, and my girlfriend made me tuna patties, and it's just like breadcrumbs, tuna.
Yeah. It's like potato patty.
Season it, yeah, and it's like, this is good. Like on a sandwich or something, like it's solid.
My grandmother used to make these. They called them cutlets, but they were essentially like beef potato patties, and they were so good.
They had beef and potato with Hamburger Helper, with hamburger hash. Hamburger hash, where it came with like dried potato in the box. And you mix that with a pound of ground beef, and it was just beef potatoes.
I feel like it's so easy to just make the beef and potatoes.
100%. But this is for the American family on the go. Like they do not have time, because like I can't imagine what it'd be like cooking for, like, I already have a hard time cooking for myself, but cooking for like the American, like the nuclear family every day. Like if you're a mother cooking for, your daughter, your son, your husband, his work friends that are coming over, and you have to like put on this whole big thing every day of the fucking week to have something where like I can take this pan, I can take this box, I dump it in, I put this beef in here, and in 20 minutes is done.
Yeah.
I don't gotta think about it. All the seasonings already mixed in with it, which is probably why I fucking hated it, because it's probably not seasoned too good to come out of a box.
No.
But like everything's already taken care of.
Yeah. I was never raised to be that way.
We were, and I'm thinking about it now, and like feeding the nuclear family, like that's difficult. My stepmom didn't work.
But she was the like stay-at-home mom that should have been.
Yes, and we also had plenty of nights. It was like you're like a fend for yourself night.
Yeah.
We had a lot of those. It was like, what's for dinner tonight? I figured it out. Okay. So like she's not even like cooking every night. But then every Friday, tuna helper. Like if you're gonna like do it out, like because the tuna helper's like doing it up. You know what I mean? Like when it's bologna sandwiches every fucking night, the tuna helper's doing it up. Yeah. So if you're doing up, is calling Lefty to come help you throw some tuna in a fucking pan.
I don't like that he's called Lefty.
It can't be the right one.
Why?
Because you cook with your right hand.
Oh. I guess. What if you're left-handed? You cook with your left hand, right?
If you're left-handed, this was the 70s. So
you were a spawn of Satan.
Yeah, you're not left-handed anymore. They're gonna fix that.
I mean, like, I don't like calling it lefty because, like, when you jack off,
This is the 70s. They didn't do that.
They were still talking about lefty.
They ate cornflakes and went to church.
A select few, my dude. This is the 70s. People were doing drugs and going to the disco.
Well, the people who were doing drugs and going to the disco definitely were not eating tuna helper. They weren't eating.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. They're not the General Mills typical audience.
No. Betty Crocker was not marketing to hippies.
Yeah.
You know that. Because you have to have a pan to cook it in. The hippies didn't have pans. They had pipes.
I mean, they still needed quick meals. I feel like, if anything, that's the people to market to. The only time that I can think of wanting Hamburger Helper or making Hamburger Helper is if I am stony baloney and I just want a quick, easy meal.
Oh, next time we hang out, I'll get some Hamburger Helper. I'll make some Hamburger Helper for us.
No, I don't want to make Hamburger Helper.
I'll also get some frozen pizzas too.
I don't like frozen pizzas either.
I had some banging ass frozen pizza the other day.
No, dude, we make our own. We make our pizzas from scratch in this household. Not from scratch. We buy the dough.
I don't have time for that, and that's why I eat the creation from 1973.
Good segue.
Fruit Helper.
Oh.
They were really, really pushing the envelope, and that's
Fruit Helper.
Fruit Helper.
What is it? Just dried fruit?
I have no idea. I have no idea. There was no beef in it. It was, and that one was very short lived. But it was
I can imagine.
Just Fruit Helper. It probably fruit salad. Because that's not an add a pound of beef thing. Oh, you know what? You add fruit to it. I bet it had a bunch of like granola and nuts and stuff in it. And then you add fruit. But then like if you're adding fruit to something, like you're and there's so much time spent cutting up the fruit. Like I've made fruit salad before, and it's actually kind of a pain in the butt. Because like you got to call that shit up, or it's just like it's a mound of fruit.
The worst part of fruit salad is mixing the fruit salad.
It gets all beat up and wet and gooky down at the bottom.
Yeah, and then like you can never really fully mix it where it's all evenly spread. I really want to know what this Fruit Helper is, though, because like I can't imagine. What are they helping with? What is Lefty doing for you in this game?
Well, Lefty's never actually done anything for you. He's just kind of like
I imagine
he's in the room.
He's the face, right? So like he's the one who makes it a one pan meal.
He put the box together.
Yeah, he put the box together.
He's helping. He's holding the box while you're opening the box. But Lefty came out after the Fruit Helper. 1977 was when the Helping Hand first came out. And now we get into the virality. Now we get into the memes. And it didn't take very long. And one of the first big memes, this is going to blow your fucking mind, One of the first big memes making fun of the helping hand came out in 1979 with a full-length horror movie called Attack of the Helping Hand.
A full-length horror movie?
Full-length horror movie. Can you guess who directed this film?
No, I can't begin to guess.
Sam Raimi of Spider-Man fame. Sam
No
Raimi.
way.
Do you know who starred the helping hand?
As the helping hand?
As the helping hand. Did the voice of, because the hand was just a hand, but did the voice of the hand.
Who is the voice of the hand?
Bruce Campbell.
Oh my god.
Bruce Campbell of Evil Dead fame got with Sam Raimi, and they came together and they made a horror movie about the helping hand killing a bunch of college kids. And then after they made that movie, and it was like moderate success, but after they made that movie was when Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell got together to make Evil Dead. So the Evil Dead that we have today, the Evil Dead movies, are because of Hamburger Helper.
You are accrediting the Evil Dead movies to
Hamburger Helper.
Helper?
If not for Hamburger Helper inventing the helping hand, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell would not have made that movie. If it wasn't for them making that movie, they wouldn't have gotten together. They knew each other before the movie, before Attack of the Helping Hand. They went to high school together. But if not for the success of Attack of the Helping Hand, there would not have been Evil Dead. If not for Hamburger Helper, there would have not been a Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell making Evil Dead. We wouldn't have the Deadites. We wouldn't have chainsaw arms. We wouldn't have the B-list hero that is Bruce Campbell. And that's kind of when like the whole like riffing on the helping hand thing started. And like later on there were SNL skits and there was all sorts of mess with just making fun of the helping hand, making fun of Lefty. And it was all the rage. So a few years later, we get Chicken Helper, and Chicken Helper is actually really, really popular because it's that this is the first one where like if you can stomach Hamburger Helper, because like Tuna Helper ain't it, Fruit Helper probably ain't it, but Chicken Helper, you know, I've actually had like Southwest Chicken Helper and it's pretty good. It's got like the beans and noodles and like a little sauce.
Every time you say that it's pretty good, I don't believe you.
But now if I had said Tuna Helper was pretty good, I think that's the one where like bombastic side eye.
I think if you're gonna tell me any of the Hamburger Helpers are pretty good, I'm probably not gonna believe you.
Chicken Helper's pretty good. Chicken Helper's pretty good. Can you make something like better on your own? Yes. But for 5 people, 1 pound of chicken, and it takes like 20 minutes to make, and it's just box, chicken, pan, done. Chicken Helper solid.
I suppose.
And it's all easy.
Alright, Chicken Helper, all the rage.
And that's kind of been like the theme with, and it was also around this time that the helping hand turned into Lefty. It's around this time.
So they like gave him a name?
Yes. Well, he was the helping hand before, but then they actually gave him a name in the 80s and turned him into Lefty at this point.
Okay.
So before Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell came around, he was just the helping hand. Now he's Lefty.
Okay.
But as time had gone on, this was around the time that like the Hamburger Helper brand kind of went and spiraled down. And I mean, in 2005, it was ranked number 5 on Food Network's 5 fad foods from the 70s. So it was, I mean, it from Chicken Helper through the 90s, bad. And I mean, that's why I'm coming up, which is kind of even a bigger slap in the face for my stepmom that like it wasn't even all the rage at the time, and she's still making me fucking eat it.
She was into it.
She loved the Tuna Helper. If it was a regular tuna casserole, maybe, but anyway. So it had already been on the fucking spiral down. Nobody's gassing up Hamburger Helper.
Okay.
So they changed they shifted demographics in the 2000s, and they went from like busy moms, like stay-at-home moms,
Yeah.
to single dudes. Totally shifted to bachelors, making easy like microwave meals for
Men can't cook for themselves.
men can't cook, so
Get a hamburger helper.
taking inspiration from instant ramen noodles that you can just add water, throw in the microwave, bing, they're done.
Yeah.
That was like Hamburger Helper singles were coming out in the 2000s. This is where they got mad shitted on, because this is the same time that Kraft singles came out. And Cheezosaurus Rex killed Lefty. Because if you gotta choose between a singles, add water, throw it in the microwave, macaroni and cheese, or Hamburger Helper,
I'm gonna choose the macaroni.
the macaroni and cheese.
That shit slaps sometimes, dog.
I like to doll it up with like less milk and more butter and make like a really thick macaroni and cheese.
I mean, you can really use that box and make however you want to make macaroni and cheese, and I
Yes.
like that about it.
But there's only so much you can do to doll up Hamburger Helper, because it's already like, it has been built up to be the end product.
Well, it's like you said, it's like already seasoned.
Yes.
And it's already got stuff, you know?
I think like macaroni and cheese really lends itself to be like a blank canvas,
Yes.
but not.
I feel
not
like
Hamburger
even just adding like pepper to those box mac and cheese and stuff
elevates it.
It elevates it. And
100%.
so like that's just like the easiest thing you can do to just make it better right out the box. But it's not already added in.
No. But I mean, you got single dudes, you know, they're not dolling anything up, you know.
Yeah.
But it was marketed to them. They didn't bite. Betty Crocker threw a Hail Mary. And in 2010, they had a rap campaign, Watch the Stove. And they dropped a single on SoundCloud.
A rap campaign?
A full campaign. They had one single that dropped called Watch the Stove. You can still find it on SoundCloud today. You can find it on YouTube. They had music videos.
Oh my god. Was Lefty in the music video?
Yes, Lefty was in the music video. I don't believe they do Lefty anymore. I think they dropped Lefty. But at the time,
They don't do Lefty anymore?
they don't do Lefty anymore. It's just Hamburger Helper. Lefty got too expensive. I think because people were riffing on Lefty so much that they're like, something's damaging the brand. It's got to be the helping hand.
Not to give more advertising out, but have you seen Nutter Butter's TikTok?
No.
I think it's Nutter Butter.
No.
But there is like, I want to say it's Nutter Butter. They have these wild schizo posting TikToks right now. And people are talking about Nutter Butter. It's something people are watching, talking about.
It's like
Like I feel, yeah, same with Wendy's.
If you lean into it, sure, but I don't like. I don't know why, but I don't see Betty Crocker leaning into stuff. I would say,
No.
but I mean, I would say the same thing about Wendy. Like whoever's running Wendy's like social media,
Twitter or whatever, yeah.
They rebranded Wendy as a person, gave her a whole new personality.
They really did.
But they tried to give the Helping Hand a whole new personality with the rap thing. It didn't do much to change the image.
You said this was in 07?
This was in 2000, in the 2010s. I don't have the exact year.
2010s.
Oh, 2017.
2017.
This was actually not so long ago. And well, it's 2024.
7 years.
That's 7 years. That's almost 10 years ago.
No,
That was a while.
not an equivalent. Go ahead.
They threw in conjunction with their 15 million listens song on SoundCloud.
Wow.
Watch the Stove. It was like a big deal. They threw a block party in Brooklyn called the 40 Ounce Bounce. And it was all about Hamburger Helper. And supposedly it was bumping.
Really?
Supposedly it was bumping.
Was Lefty there?
I don't think Lefty was there. I don't think you can have Lefty in real life.
Sure you can. Put a
Well,
guy in a left-handed mascot costume.
you definitely cannot now
No, no,
because
no,
we are
not now.
nearing the end of the tail of Hamburger Helper.
Okay.
In 2022,
What a tale it has been.
the Hamburger Helper brand. Did you think there's going to be a story like this with Hamburger Helper? No.
I'm really invested in Lefty at this point. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Lefty's dead, and the Eagle brand killed him.
The Eagle brand?
In 2022, it is called Eagle brand. That's it.
An eagle came and snatched up Lefty.
And took him away and bought him
away.
from General Mills
Yep.
for $610 million.
It's a lot of money.
And that's the end of Lefty.
That's it?
Not the end of Hamburger Helper. You can still get Hamburger
I
Helper.
was gonna say, but they're still making Hamburger Helper, I assume.
I don't think it's the same.
No? You think they just bought the rights to the name, essentially?
I think a lot of companies, when they buy like a new or like an old brand, they get it and then they change the recipe, like just make it as cheap as possible off the rip, and they're just trying to like shill cheap shit.
I mean,
for,
I'm
as,
sure
as
they probably,
cheap as possible.
I'm sure they probably changed it. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you there. But I think when they would buy the rights, they would buy the recipe, I would assume.
And they definitely like got the recipe, got the rice, did all that. Then look at the recipe, like, do they really need
What
chili
can we
powder
shave
in their
off?
Hamburger
Yeah.
Helper? Yeah, and it's like, how much sawdust can we put in here before it's not Hamburger Helper anymore?
Yeah.
Before it's just Helper.
How
you
many
know?
rat turds can get through this?
Yes. What's the legal amount of rat turds? How much lead are we allowed to have in this before it's inedible? You know. But that's Hamburger Helper. Hamburger Helper has a long checkered history. And,
R.I.P. Lefty, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. Lefty.
This Eagle, I've never heard of this Eagle company though.
I had never
Maybe.
heard of Eagle brand. I didn't know, and
Yeah,
they're
I
just
don't
like
know
a
what that is.
small. I mean, there's like not small. They had $610 million to buy
Yeah.
Hamburger Helper, but like there's a ton of those like because it's Eagle brand. It's not Eagle brand foods or anything like that. It's just Eagle brand.
Yeah.
So it's just like a branding licensing company picks up. Probably saw like on the brand marketplace that General Mills is trying to sell Hamburger Helpers. Like, sure, I'll buy it, and just suck it dry for the next 10 years, and then we're not gonna have Hamburger Helper anymore.
Surprised like Yahoo didn't buy it or something like that.
Yahoo ain't got no money.
Yahoo buys everything.
I think Yahoo gets bought.
Yeah.
Hasn't Yahoo changed hands like 5 times?
Yahoo has changed hands quite a few times.
Do you think there's anybody like working at Yahoo, like in the Yahoo corporate office, that's like, I've been here since the beginning. I remember when it used to go
There's
Yahoo.
no way. There's no way.
Well, that's all I got.
Well, that was great. I would never have thought to Google Hamburger Helper, but boy golly, did I learn something.
I didn't either. I had a topic picked out, and then my girlfriend came in. I was like, baby, what should I do for this podcast? And she goes, Hamburger Helper. And I started looking into it. I was like, oh shit. There's
There's
bunch
some
of stuff
discourse
out there.
there.
There's a lot going on. I'm about to go listen to Watch the Stove.
Advertising, watch the stove at this point.
Well, apparently it's a bop.
Is it?
15 million listens.
I mean, maybe it was just like a meme at the time.
Well, it was definitely a meme. In 2017, we were like full meme swing back then.
It was all
Right.
about the meme culture.
When that's what Lefty tried to latch on to, but his little left-handed fingers weren't strong enough to.
They need
Grab
more of
onto
those
meme
Gen Z
culture.
marketers who are like schizo posting and reaching out to the kids.
Have you seen the one? There was a tire shop that they were advertising for, and the TikTok was like, my boss said if I can get 1 million views on this advertisement, I can get Saturday off, and it's just like concrete. Camera comes up, sees a tire shop, and then looks back, and a giant Shrek in the horizon twerking behind the fucking tire shop, and it had like 3 million views on it. And it's
I
like
like-
that's you did it.
There was one that was like, my boss asked me to make a ad, but I decided I didn't care, and I just made all the times that he made noises, and it's just the guy going like,
Oh, the millennial breath.
yeah,
Millennial breath.
the millennial breath.
Yes, it's and I don't think that's unreasonable. We need to go back and like when we edit, see if we do millennial breaths.
Yeah, we do. I'm sure we do. I mean, there's that. Back in the day, you had a lag to when you started talking versus when it started recording, and I mean nowadays that's not a thing.
Well, digital cameras used to have a light on the front of them.
Yeah,
And you could see like the lens would like shift,
Yep.
and then the light would click on to let you know like now you're recording.
yeah. So you had to like wait a minute, and then once it said it was recording, you're like, "Hey YouTube," you know.
I miss that though.
But that's like, I mean, we still do the thing where we make phones like this, and the kids nowadays be making phones like this.
Do they really? Do they put
Yeah.
their hands up like
That's
this?
their phone.
Is that nuh-uh?
Yeah, because it's a smartphone, dog. They don't know a phone like this. What phone they got that goes like this?
The easy flip. What's that? You know they have the phone that's like it's like a
It
smartphone,
like bends in half.
but it bends. Yeah, the
Yeah.
screen it bends
That
like
feels
this.
like something that's gonna break.
Well, the seam goes bad.
Yeah.
This
When
is a
you're
cold
opening it.
close.
This is a cold close.
This is a cold close.
Oh, well, thanks for listening to I Am Dumb. I don't know if we said that in the beginning.
We did.
Ian and Murna don't understand much. Yeah.
Go check out the full feature length film, Attack of the Helping Hand. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for
6-minute
coming
film.
and checking in with us.